Chapter 7, Putting All Markets Together, the AS-AD Model. Learning Objectives. Understand the derivation and interpretation of the AS relation. Understand the derivation and interpretation of the AD relation. Be able to explain why output returns to the natural level of output in the medium run. Explain the short run and medium run effects of a change in monetary policy. Explain the short run and medium run effects of a change in fiscal policy. Learning Objectives. Explain the short run and medium run effects of a change in oil prices. Equation 7.1 shows the AS relation. To derive it, we start from the WS and PS relations learned in Chapter 6. W equals PE times function of UZ and P equals 1 plus M times W. Now substitute W from WS relation into PS relation to get equation 7.1. To go from equation 7.1 to 7.2, express the unemployment rate in terms of output. U equals U over L, where L is labor force, or L minus N over L, and N equals number employed. So U equals 1 minus N over L, which is equal to 1 minus y over L in our simple production function where y equals n. Therefore, for a given labor force, the higher is output, lower is the unemployment rate. Equation 7.2 shows that price level depends on expected price level PE and the level of output y, and also M, Z, and L, but we do take those as constant here. Note two key features of the AS relation. 1. Increase in output leads to increase in price level P through a four-step process. Step 1. Increase in output leads to an increase in employment since Y equals N. Step 2. Increase in employment leads to a decrease in unemployment. Step 3. Decrease in unemployment leads to increase in nominal wages from WS relation. And step 4. Increase in nominal wages leads to increase in price level as shown by PS relation. Second key feature of the AS relation is that increase in expected price level leads 1-for-1 to an increase in actual price level. As PE increases, nominal wage will increase as a result of people negotiating for higher wages, and this will lead to an increase in actual price level shown by PS relation. The AS curve goes through point A. At point A, when actual output Y equals YN natural level of output, P equals PE because natural level of output derived by using natural level of unemployment, which is obtained in the medium run by setting actual price level to expected price level. When Y is greater than YN, actual price level will be higher than expected price level. Therefore, expected price level will be adjusted upward. This will cause the AS curve to shift upward. Figure 7-2 shows an increase in the expected price level shifts the aggregate supply curve up. Figure 7-3 shows AD curve is derived from the equilibrium conditions in the goods and financial markets using IS-LM curves. IS curve shows equilibrium in the goods market, LM shows equilibrium in the financial markets. AD curve shows negative relation between price level and output for given values of M, G, and T. Derivation of the AD curve. Looking at IS-LM curves in graph A, we find equilibrium is at point A. IS curve is drawn for given values of G and T. LM curve is drawn for given values of M over P. When we plot equilibrium level of output Y against a given price level P, we get point A on graph B. To see the effect of change in price level on output, consider what happens if price level increases to P prime. This will cause LM curve to shift up to LM prime and equilibrium output will fall to Y prime. Plotting Y prime against P prime, we get point A prime on graph B, giving us the downward sloping aggregate demand curve. Equation 7.3 gives us the aggregate demand relation. It says output Y is an increasing function of the real money stock M over P, an increasing function of government spending G, and a decreasing function of taxes T. Figure 7-4 shows shifts of the aggregate demand curve. At a given price level, increase in M or G or a decrease in T increases output, shifting AD curve to the right. Decrease in M or G or an increase in T will decrease output, shifting AD curve to the left. Figure 7-5 shows equilibrium is given by the intersection of the aggregate demand and aggregate supply curves. At point A, the labor market, the goods market, and the financial markets are all in equilibrium. If AS shifts or AD shifts, equilibrium will change. Short-run equilibrium at point A gives equilibrium output as Y. It is above Yn. There is no reason why equilibrium output Y in the short run has to be equal to the natural level of output Yn. Point B corresponds to the natural level of output. Also at A, since Y is greater than Yn, actual price level P is higher than expected price level PE. Figure 7-6 shows the self-adjustment mechanism of the economy. In the medium run, expected price level will be adjusted upward since people will realize that actual price level at Y was higher than the expected price level. This will cause nominal wages and then actual price level to go up. AS curve will shift up. This process will continue till the new equilibrium is at point A double prime, where output is at the natural level and actual price level is equal to expected price level, and wage setters have no reason to change their expectations. Figure 7-7 shows in the short run both output and price level increase as a result of monetary expansion. In the medium run, output returns to the natural level and increase in price level is proportional to the increase in nominal money stock. In the short run, economy moves from point A to A prime. Expansionary monetary policy will cause AD to shift to the right. In the medium run, output returns to the natural level because AS curve will shift up since actual output Y prime is higher than the natural level and actual price level will be higher than the expected price level. People will therefore revise expected price level upward. Economy will settle at A double prime. Price level will have increased by the same proportion as the increase in nominal money stock. Explanation: real money demand equals real money supply at each point on the AD curve. So when Y returns to its original level, real money supply M over P has to be equal to money demand at that level of income, and since M increased, P must increase by the same proportion to keep M over P the same as before. Figure 7-8 uses the ISLM curves to demonstrate how monetary policy is neutral in the medium run. As nominal money stock increases, LM curve shifts down to LM prime. It would have gone even lower if price level had not increased. However, as the price level increases further in the medium run, LM prime shifts back up to LM till output returns to natural level and interest rates also return to the original level. In the short run, however, expansionary monetary policy is effective since output is higher and interest rate is lower. Figure 1 shows, according to Taylor's model, when money supply was increased by 3% over 1 year, output increases for 3 quarters, short run, reaches a peak, and after 4 years, medium run, return to its original level. Prices increased barely for the first 3 quarters and by the end of 4 years increased by 2.5%. This supports the result that monetary policy affects output in the short run but is neutral in the medium run. Figure 7-9 shows effect of contractionary fiscal policy on output in the short run and medium run. Decrease in government spending leads to a decrease in aggregate demand. Thus, AD curve shifts to the left to AD prime. Economy moves from point A to A prime. Equilibrium output falls and so does the price level. In the medium run, economy's self-adjusting mechanism will return output to the natural level, but price level will fall even further. At A prime, the actual output is below the natural level and the actual price level will be below the expected price level. People will revise the expected price level lower. AS will shift down as nominal wages fall. New equilibrium is at point A double prime when output has returned to its natural level. Figure 7-10 shows the effect of decrease in the budget deficit on output and the interest rate in the short run and medium run. Due to decrease in government spending, AD shifts to the left, causing price level to fall. On the IS-LM diagram, you see in the short run, IS curve shifts to the left because of lower government spending, and LM shifts down because of lower price level, causing equilibrium output to be lower and interest rates to be lower at A prime. In the medium run, as price level falls further due to lowered price expectations, LM falls further to LM double prime. Output returns to the natural level, but interest rate falls further. Because of this effect on interest rates in the medium run, fiscal policy is not considered to be neutral even though output returns to the natural level. Investment will be higher as a result of decrease in the budget deficit. Remember, I equals S plus D minus G. I increases by the amount that G decreased. This shows the important effect of deficit reduction on investment I in the medium run, where it increases unambiguously. In the short run, deficit spending leads to decrease in saving due to lower output Y and may lead to lower investment. Figure 7-11 shows an increase in the price of oil in the 1970s and then from 1998 to 2008. In the 1970s, it caused stagflation, combination of recession and high inflation. Figure 7-12 shows increase in oil prices increases costs, which increase price level due to higher markup. PS shifts down to PS prime. This lowers the equilibrium real wage and raises the natural rate of unemployment. Figure 7-13 shows an increase in the price of oil decreases output in the short run, and in the medium run natural level of output falls further and price level increases further. If you look at the equation for the AS relation, you will see how an increase in markup M will cause an increase in price level P for given Y. Thus, AS curve will shift up to AS prime in the short run. Output will fall to Y prime, but it is still higher than the new natural level of output at Y prime N. Thus, aggregate supply curve will shift upward to AS double prime in the medium run. Figure 7-14 shows the oil price increases of the 1970s were associated with large increases in inflation. This was, however, not the case in the 2000s. Figure 1 shows effects of increase in the price of oil on output and price level are much smaller than they used to be. Figure 7-15 shows the oil price increases of the 1970s were associated with large increases in unemployment. This was, however, not the case in the 2000s. Table 7-1 shows that changes in policy have different effects in the short run and in the medium run. Disagreements among economists about the effects of various policies come from differences in the time frame they have in mind and how quickly they think the economy adjusts to shocks. Those who are focused on the long run support fiscal consolidation since it leads to higher investment and thus higher output in the long run. Those who focus on the short run do not support fiscal consolidation since it reduces output and may decrease investment over that time frame. Those who think economy adjusts quickly to shocks are reluctant to use any policies to stabilize the economy.